Okay, 7 o'clock. If y'all please join me in the pledge, we'll start the meeting.
Of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first thing we'll do tonight is approve the agenda, and we are gonna have a small change.
Yeah, we would like to, I think we need to eliminate item 3, motion to go into executive session right now, and just move right to calling the session order with, strike 3 and 4, and after that, we will go right into good news, recognition, and announcements.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve the agenda, removing items 3 and 4.
I'll second it.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so we will start with the good news, recognitions, and announcements.
And Mr. Pope, while he's getting that ready, informed me before the meeting that I cannot dim too many more lights because otherwise the feed out to the live streaming doesn't come across real well. So that's why we're not dimming the lights, Mr. Pope. I do not want to make you upset. Yeah, we just can't hear.
All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Kinsey Yates. Earlier this month, I became the first Festus student athlete to sign a letter of intent to compete in archery at a collegiate level. I will be attending Lindenwood University on an archery and academic scholarship this fall. Now here's a look at this month's good news, recognitions, and announcements.
Hi, I'm Justin Peters, and I'm the Festus March Student of the Month. My parents are Tina and Larry Peters. I was extremely honored to be named Student of the Month, and I'm very happy to represent Festus. My favorite class is anatomy. I am the senior class vice president, president of the Key Club, member of the National Honor Society, and I also play varsity tennis. I plan to attend the University of Missouri-Columbia and study biochemistry.
The first events at the new Performing Arts Center have gone well. The middle school musical, Aladdin Jr., played to a nearly full house on opening night. The high school band held a successful concert, and the open house hosted a couple of 100 patrons to see the new facility. The high school musical Annie takes the stage Thursday, March 24th through Sunday, March 27th. Earlier this month, the 7th grade Social Studies PLC honored the middle school custodians, cooks, paraprofessional, secretaries, and district bus drivers with a special dinner. These groups of classified personnel help make school happen successfully every day. 7th grade girls work concession stands during the year to raise the funds for the dinner. The first week of March was Dr. Seuss Week at the elementary school. Classes had special dress-up days and did different Dr. Seuss-related activities. Mrs. Banak and Dr. Roos even visited classes to read to the students. The Festus wrestling program had a good showing at the state meet last month. The girls' team placed 13th out of 108 teams, despite qualifying just 3 wrestlers. Leanne Dobbs won a match, Kirsten Klein finished 5th, and became Festus's first ever girls 2-time state placer. Lauren Mills was the highest finish in Festus girls wrestling history with a 3rd place finish. On the boys' side, Austin Neff won a match, and Peyton Shaver came 1 match away from placing in his freshman season. Senior Cole Rickerman was named the Jefferson County Conference's Large School Basketball MVP, and Coach Farrell was named the Large School Coach of the Year. On the girls' side, Josie Allen was named the Large School Co-MVP. The Festus Archery Club held their end-of-season banquet earlier this month. They received their certificates and awards. They even got to shoot with their parents. That's a look at this month's good news, recognitions, and announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Pope.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Yeah, Mike, just a second. Okay, I'm back to I lost my screen there for a second. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Wendell, Mr. Fowler, any discussion, Dr. Luttrell?
Just again, on the financial reports, if we reported a couple months ago, you can always check those to get the updated statement from Mr. Earnhardt that tells our overall shape of what we're in. We continue to progress through the school year very well. And like I said, I think probably at the end of this month, so in April, we'll have he'll give his end of third quarter report, which will be 3/4 of the year done at the end of this month in March. But again, that continues, the revenues with expenditures continue to trend in a very positive direction. And then on we did have on mid-February, we had on the 18th, the Friday, we had a staff professional development day, and the morning was PD within the school sites, and then we brought everyone together for a lunch in the high school, and then everyone transitioned to the Performing Arts Center, and we had a guest national speaker that was just tremendous, did a book signing, and it just was really well received from staff. John O'Leary, and of course, like any day for professional development, we always do a survey, and those results, again, providing feedback like we always do. You can see those overall were very, very positive on that end. And then, of course, it's that time, which I'll talk again in my superintendent's report in a few minutes, that, it's that time for graduation. And as in past years, the parents would like to try and have a fireworks display for that ceremony if it's held outside. Of course, to do that, there's a process, and that process involves first the Board of Education giving the okay for them to pursue that, and then they will then go to the city of Festus, get approval, which will then kind of get a permit to do it, and then they'll then contact and at the same time work with an approved pyrotechnic vendor to make that happen. We've done that for several years. So other than that, it's pretty light consent agenda, and I'm sure in the next couple months it's going to fill back up as we get ready for student handbook for the 22-23 school year, as well as, it's about time for those quite large MSBA policy updates soon. So.
Can't wait for those. Okay, any questions from anyone on any of the items on the consent agenda? All right, all those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, that motion carries. We will move on now to the superintendent's report, communications and reports.
Just a couple items, like we said, as far as our COVID numbers are very low positive case numbers within the campus community, but I think that's pretty similar across the spectrum, any organization across our community, any community within at least our region. I know I saw the numbers earlier this week. Even Jefferson County as a whole has really dropped drastically now in terms of new cases. So hopefully that's will remain at that levels. I did, when I was running this report, just a little historical note that I thought was interesting. 2 years ago to this very day, on March 17th, Tuesday, March 17th of 2020, that was actually our final attendance day before we had to make the transition suddenly to online learning. We actually made the decision on Sunday the 15th that we had a couple days to kind of tie up loose ends, get students acclimated. Looking back, I think it's all of us here would say that none of us expected that we'd even still be talking about that 2 years later. We all thought it would pass in a short amount of time. But anyway, it was 2 years ago today. But like I said, it's right now our numbers are I don't think they can really do much better. The key is just staying there. The kindergarten registration, which is actually for the future graduating class from Festus High School of 2035, will be held later this month. And those dates, I think specifically, I think they're next week, Dr. Roos.
24th, 25th, and 26th.
24th, 25th, and 26th. And then we're also doing another round on Tuesday, April the 5th. A pre-appointment is necessary, and you can go to our website and collect that information, and it will take you to take individuals to a document that they can look to see what spots are open. And those do fill up. And so, again, and if someone still has questions after they look at that, just contact like I said, our office here and, talk to Dr. Roos, and she will get them pointed in the right direction to make sure that they get a conference for screening, because that is very important to help us project for our staffing needs and that heading into the new school year. We also, even though we did have a brief spring break last Thursday, Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday of this week, we also, if you remember last month, we amended the calendar and took designated Monday, April the 4th as a non-attendance day, and then because of the fact that they always use one of our attendance centers for a polling site, just doesn't mix well when we have students on campus, so we're going to use Tuesday, April the 5th as an alternative methods of instruction or a virtual learning, remote learning day for students. So again, just want to make everyone aware of that, and we'll communicate that out again through our social media as those dates near. We talked about fireworks at graduation. Graduation for the class of 2022 will actually is set for in May, and we hope to have it at the stadium. And if that first date doesn't work, we will actually then go the next night up in the next few years. And then if there's inclement weather on that second night, we would then move to Jefferson College. So again, but that's going to be here soon. But again, it's on the horizon, and it's been thus far, considering all circumstances, it's been a pretty smooth ride, especially as we headed into the second half of this school year. But the final student attendance day for our current school year is slated for, and is for the most part set in stone, barring some unforeseen operations that impacted our attendance centers for days on end, which I do not foresee happening, even if we had a day of flood or something in the spring. That our last attendance day at this point, for the most part, is pretty well, you can bank on the fact that Thursday, May the 26th, will be our final attendance day for students for this current school year. And then the last thing in my report that I'm most excited to announce is that tomorrow, I want to remind everyone that tomorrow, Friday, March 18th, Fox 2 News in the morning, along with the co-host of that, Tim Ezell, will be broadcasting live and doing live segments throughout the morning, beginning at 5:55 a.m. from the Performing Arts Center. And throughout the morning, in addition, as part of the live segments, at least 3 of our separate student groups will showcase their talents and perform live. There will also be throughout the morning specific areas of the facility that will be highlighted and shown to viewers. So those of you who are in attendance tonight, those of you that are tuning in via streaming, as soon as you log off tonight, get to bed, because that 5:55 will come very early, so be ready for that. I don't want you to miss out on viewing our very talented students. And like I said, I think that around the designated times, and they might change a minute or two, but like I said, 5:55, the first segment is just going to be a brief conversation with Mr. Ezell, kind of talking with me about how the facility came about. And then at 6:55, we're going to actually have the high school Tigerettes performing a dance that I think that they recently competed at in Orlando with. And then at 7:25, as was indicated during the good news, the high school production of the musical Annie will be kicking off next week. So at 7:25, there's actually going to be a mini brief stage act from that musical that will be performed for viewers. And then one of the final live segments will entail our high school, one of our high school choirs under the direction of Mr. Bimler performing as well. So again, tune in for your Friday morning, but you got to get plenty of rest tonight to do that. That's my superintendent's report.
Okay, sounds great. Should be fun tomorrow. Tim's a funny guy. Be fun. All right, we'll move on now. Anybody else have any questions on the superintendent's report? All right, we'll move on now to prior new business. First item there is to approve a bid for renovation project for the elementary and the high school.
We always plan our summer project, we've approved some already. One of the couple big ticket items that have been in the works for a while, basically we're asking for approval tonight, is projects that impact both Festus Elementary School as well as Festus High School. And we solicited this project as a group project simply because it's very difficult because of the environment end to get contractors that would do just smaller projects, and they're much more prone to look at a larger project. And so we decided to solicit these and put these out as one group project. And just to kind of give you an idea, at the high school, the main project there involves, basically, if you recall a few years back, we totally redid and renovated the FACS classroom, Family Consumer Science classroom at the middle school with all new cabinetries, layout for the kitchens. And we did not at that time, because we knew that there was probably going to be a change in the staffing there due to retirement. We wanted to make sure that the new person coming on board had some input. And so we're asking, part of this project includes demolition and disposal of most all areas within that current classroom at the high school where our Family Consumer Science program is at, and then implementing a new floor plan that's we'll have new ceiling tile, new lighting, new workstations, moving the location of where stoves and sinks are to allow more open floor space, along with new stainless prep tables. That's one item that's in this group that's impacted at the high school. The others involve the elementary, and those include, a few years back, we started renovating 5 or 6 classrooms a year, totally because some of a lot of the top floor tile in there still has asbestos. And so as part of the process, we would renovate the rooms with new ceiling tile, lighting, flooring. They still, a lot of these rooms still have at least for me, was common when I was in school, the chalkboards, and everything's now is either interactive whiteboards. So we update everything into the 21st century. We've been doing we would do 5 to 7 classrooms a year. We were on track to finish this up in the 2020 summer. Of course, the pandemic hit, all that got put on hold the last 2 years. We're getting back to that process. So this project also entails remodeling, renovation of 7 classrooms to keep that process going. And it kind of lets you know there again, like I said, everything in a classroom. Doors, closets, shelving, LED lighting. Also at the elementary in this project, there's going to be the creation of 2 new special ed classrooms. We're going to take an existing area where one of our programs is hosted that doesn't have direct dealing with students, and we're going to make that current office area into some expanded special education classroom areas. So this would involve that work to make that happen. And if you also remember that last year in adding 2 counselors across the district, we also had areas that needed to be reconfigured. One was at the elementary school, and so this project would also entail renovating the existing counseling suite and making it to where you'll have 4 separate office spaces that are 10 foot by 11 foot, along with a 13 foot by 9 foot conference room, and along with an additional open support space in case we ever add a support person like an administrative assistant or whatever. As I said, all those projects were bid as a group, and even then, we advertise in the Leader for 2 weeks in the expanded version and then we did receive two vendors that submitted a bid, and you can see there the one bid was from Ron's Glass Company, also known as Ron's Doors and Windows. They had done a lot of work for us in prior years, and then the other bid was from Rockmiller Construction, which we know has done a lot of work for the district. And the low bid for all those projects as a group came in at $302,200. The high bid was $306,325. And after review, it's our recommendation that the board accept the low bid from Rockmiller Construction in that amount of $302,200 to perform those projects at Festus Elementary and Festus High School per the bid specification. So I would ask that you consider that one first, and then I'll go into the second recommendation there, which involves, because this is, the contractor will only do the renovation part. As I said, there has to be some abatement of asbestos in a few places. That's a separate contractor, and so we bidded that out. We did that work separately bid. So I'd like to ask you to, if you would approve one of these bids if you feel needed, and then we'll do the, I'll explain the abatement work next.
So, excuse me, someone like to make a motion to approve either of the bids?
I'll make a motion for the lower bid of Rockmiller Construction for $302,200.
And Ms. Berezzowski, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Wolf, any other discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We'll move now to the abatement.
The abatement work, as I said, these projects are in older areas, and when we've done these projects in the past, we always seem to hit abatement in the areas of the flooring, and in the old chalkboards, as I said. Sometimes we you take out the cabinets, they've been on the wall plastered with some type of, so all that has to be abated, and there's a lot of environmental regulations you have to follow. So we did solicit that bid through a separate spec, and we had two vendors that responded to that would perform the work. Midwest Service Group submitted a bid, and Advanced Environmental Services submitted a bid, both reputable companies, and they were pretty close. Like you said, the high bid from Midwest Service Group came in at $56,550, and the Advanced Environmental Services bid came in at $53,000. And again, I would recommend accepting the low bid from Advanced Environmental Services in the amount of $53,000 to perform abatement work at Festus Elementary and Festus High School per the bid specifications. And all that work is planned to be completed between the end of school in May and the time we start back up in August. And we've done similar projects in that time frame before, outside the pandemic and the supply chain. But I'm still optimistic we should have a problem completing those in the duration that we have.
So I'd like to make a motion to that effect.
Make a motion to accept the bid from Advanced Environmental Services in the amount of $53,000 perform abatement work at Festus Elementary and High Schools.
Okay, Mr. Wendell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fadler, any other questions, comments?
Have either one of them ever done any work for us before?
Yes, both have at
Okay.
some point in time. It's just been a
You
couple
might
of
have
years.
said it, I might have missed it, sorry.
And then on that last one there, part of another project that we had bid out that we're hoping to accomplish.
You want me to vote on
Oh,
this?
yeah, I'm sorry, I got it.
Sorry, it's my fault.
No,
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Okay,
Another project that was in the paper that we solicited bids for, that you've heard me comment in the past, and we're still gonna try to get it done, but it's getting more bleak every day, is we also solicited vendors to give us a cost for constructing a metal storage building down by where the new ball field complex is. And we put that out as well, but unfortunately at this point, whenever we had the time for the meeting and we have not had any vendors reach out and respond to us for that project. We're gonna keep trying, but it was, now when I say, this wasn't just going out and buying a building from Lowe's. It was more of a custom design for our needs, and we didn't have anyone respond, so we're rethinking that, and we will plan to go back out, but right now, that earlier had been mentioned to have this, but we've tried, and so far we haven't had luck getting anyone say that they would come and do that, but we're gonna keep trying. That's all I have.
all right. Anyone else have anything for that item? Now we'll move on now to approve the purchase of Chromebooks.
Mr. Bauman is here as well if we need to, but like I said, every year, as you know, since the last 5 or 6 years, we have expanded our Chromebooks. Most all of our students are at 1-to-1. Not all of them take them home, So with an inventory of that many Chromebooks across the district, we always have to make sure we've got a current inventory with, it's all very up-to-date, user-friendly, workable. And so it was just that time for Mr. Baumann to put out for bid an RFP for Chromebooks. And so he did. And this bid here is to essentially purchase, I think it was right at 330. I think Mr. Baumann, I think you decided 331.
Correct. Mr. Earnhardt and I had estimated a cost of $300 per unit, and they came in cheaper than that. You can see from the matrix around $271 a unit. Normally our yearly purchase is a larger number, closer to an entire building. This year is just, the majority of our Chromebooks are in within their life. They've got a couple more years left on our oldest ones. So this 331 is really to backfill ones that have had to be taken out of service due to a number of issues, damage, loss, you name it. So this is really kind of to backfill that supply and to address a particular need, not an entire building. So that's why I started at 300. Since the cost came in so good, I upped it to 331. So that's that cost you see there.
And as you can see there, we had numerous vendors submit a bid. Not all submitted the specs that we want, that we had requested. There were a couple that, again, that we just may have used in the past that we did not have good luck with that vendor. And we've had some that also, we've never done business with them, and we couldn't find any district in our area that has done business to really get a good, but I believe it was the low bid though, did actually from SHI came in, and that was the low bid. We have done business with them, correct, Mr. Baumann, in the past, and they've been very responsive. And so the recommendation is actually to approve that purchase of Chromebooks in the amount, I just had that, my computer's messing up, in the amount of recommend 331 individual Dell 3100 Chromebooks, but it's 331. The model is 31.
Yes.
Not the
Correct.
And from SHI International at a total cost of $89,816.85 per specifications. And Mr. Baumann, with the supply chain, do we know when that were
actually
anticipated?
These should not be a problem. They have a good line on these, and they say there's some in the warehouse. I'll believe it when I see it. We've been burned by that a few too many times this year already. So, but there should not be. And this is not like, we're rolling out Chromebooks to a grade level or to a building where they don't have anything now. We have enough now. This is just to backfill and kind of get more of a rotation going. So this isn't like an emergent need, kids don't have devices type scenario. So if they don't show up until the second month of school, we'll be fine.
Okay, someone like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to purchase 331 individual Dell 3100 Chromebooks from SHI International at a total cost of $89,816.85 per specification.
Okay, the motion from Ms. Beresowski, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Wolf, second from Mr.
Mike
Wolf.
can have it.
Any other discussion or questions on those? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay,
And then we do have, as I mentioned, we probably will come back in the next month or the next couple months. Mr. and I have talked, and we still, some other RFPs that we're going to be putting out. At some point before the fiscal year, we would like to replace a couple of vehicles that are in our fleet, whether the fans and teachers use, or we have vehicles that our director of maintenance and transportation drive. They're getting a little bit aged, and so we will probably RFP to update a couple of those in the coming weeks, or in the coming months before the end of the fiscal year, so we might look for that as well. That's all.
Okay. The last item we have there is to set the date for the April Board of Education meeting. The election is Tuesday, April 5th. And state law requires that the board reorganize within 14 days. So the currently The regularly scheduled meeting, which would be Thursday, April 21st, is 2 days past the required 14 days, so we'll need to make select a date within the 14 days of April 5th to have the meeting, to reorganize the board.
We just move it to the 14th of April and have our regular meeting then,
You could.
That would be
That
the
would
second
you could do
Thursday.
that. That would be within the,
if that'll work.
There's a track meet to 14. No, Tiger Town's 12. I don't know what this one is.
And I left my phone at home, so I don't have my calendar, so it's up in the air.
that's something, and we can, as long as you work it out in the next, as long as we get it, know when to post it, you know, if you don't.
Does
wanna-
anyone have days they know they're not available?
Wednesdays are not good for me, so any other time after that.
The 12th and the 14th? Mike, is that those dates bad for you?
Well, as I said, it looks like there's a track meet on the 12th and the 14th, but I don't know what is what. The Festus one's on 12th, so definitely that's out.
What about the 7th?
Is that what that is? Yeah.
What about April 7th? It's a Thursday.
Are we going to do the whole meeting, or we just want to
You
do that part?
you could do a special one real quick if you wanted.
You do a special meeting to reorganize the board and then have the regular meeting on the, still on the 21st.
Yeah. I'm good.
I'm probably okay doing that.
On April 7th?
And we'll make sure that we'll ask,
Is there a time?
the only thing we want to make sure we do on that, on the 7th, we want to make sure that ideally we have the county clerk's office has certified the results. And so usually it should be, but I think maybe if Mrs. Stanley communicated with them now to see would it be possible to get the certified results 2 days later, it wouldn't be a problem. I would just hate to certify, to reorganize, we haven't got the, but usually they're pretty quick about turning those around. And we would need to, definitely that close, want to confirm, and I'm more than happy to do that.
Could we move it to a Tuesday night? That wouldn't be a issue with track meets, or?
Well, it's the Tuesday and Thursday that next week.
The next Tuesday would be the 14th day if you did it on the 19th, right? You could do it on the 19th.
Yes, you could, yes.
If you all like to do it on Tuesday, April 19th.
I'm good with that.
That's just 2 days from the regular meeting, so we just go ahead and have a
You
regular
just
meeting
have
that
the regular
night.
meeting that night.
Let's just do that, that's okay.
Okay, Tuesday, April 19th, 7 o'clock will be the regularly scheduled board meeting, which includes the reorganization of the board. Okay, we'll plan that now. All right, that doesn't require a motion.
No.
Okay, does anyone else have anything for open session at this time?
I do have one more item. If I could have the floor for a minute. You're still gonna be able to see me do this, Kevin? This tonight, as I said, Board of Education members are doing valuable service to our community. They give up, a minimum of 1 month, evening and night, but there's also a lot of hours put in throughout each month, reading information to prepare for an upcoming Board of Education meeting. They're always very willing to take time and listen to patrons, that have something that they want to communicate with them about, and it's all at no pay, other than because they do it because they want to give back to the community. And I think Festus School District has always had a solid board, great support, and as I said, that's evidenced simply by me being only the 5th person that's had the opportunity to serve the district in 77 years. That doesn't just happen. It takes a great board that all works together collaboratively and respect one another. That being said, we said there's an election coming up on April the 5th. We have a longtime incumbent, President Todd Edding, who has given 18 years to the board, to the community for service. His daughters, graduated from here. He's a graduate of here. And so given 18 years while still working a full-time career is really a testament to the dedication of wanting to give back and improve. And so I know although he would not ever even want any recognition, we have taken the liberty to have a plaque that basically says, presented to Todd Edding in recognition for your 18 years of service to the Festus R-VI Board of Education from the Festus R-VI Board of Education 2022. So again, I thank President Edding. light? Be glad to. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, if we also, for those of you after we adjourn the meeting here, Mr. Baumann, we have a cake in the back that also congratulates everybody for their service, and if anyone wants to stick around and have some of that cake, you're more than welcome to do that. Mr. Martin will pay names and probably invite you to fitness now after you eat it. But no, very much, you're gonna be missed, President Ed.
Yep, well, thank you, I appreciate it. It's been an honor to serve, so, thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion with the roll call vote to enter into executive session with a closed session and closed record, closed vote pursuant to RSMO 610.021, sections 3 and 13.
So moved.
Mr. Wolf?
Second.
Mr. Abrams? Will you poll the board, please, Ms.
Mr. Wendell?
Yes.
Mr. Fadler?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Honey?
Yes.
Mr. Abrams?
Yes.
Ms. Berendt?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break.